great to have Joseph joining us to talk about the graph.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So in order to understand what the graph does, I'm going to start with a story.
Sure.
So imagine that you are looking for a set of data that happened 3 days ago, and you actually want to retrieve the data as fast as possible. So what we'll actually do, let's say that we are looking for some data on the Ethereum chain. So sometimes what we're actually doing, if you're not running directly on RPC nodes and collecting this type of data, you will fetch this type of blocks that happened 3 days ago, and you will start looking for your information inside of this block. If you don't find it, you're going to be jumping from one block to another until you find it. So this is actually something that's really hard for developers and for apps that they want to build on top of blockchains and collect the data. So what the graph is doing is actually providing a solution for that. So what the graph does actually, the graph is collecting all this type of data from the blockchain level, and then we are creating these indexes, and then actually after it, dApps and other applications and protocols that need access to this data, instead of running their nodes themselves, they could query the graph, and the graph will provide them with the data in a very fast way and actually like cheaper than the other existing solutions.
Absolutely. Each of our partner on the product side is asking for the graph support, right? But coming back to how you get started, what's your personal journey getting into crypto and now with graph?
Yeah, my personal journey, I started as a competition. I was in a competition back home at Montreal, and then we won the competition. We started the startup, we got funded, and then we actually got acquired by another startup, and then I worked there for couple years, and then I joined Figment, and now Figment has joined the graph as a core dev teams, and so we have a lot of experience in indexing different type of blockchains. So now we're joined force with the graph teams to actually start taking the graph technology from Ethereum to other blockchains. So we are spreading and scaling the graph solution on multi-blockchains level.
That's awesome. I would say indexing, analytics, if not later, almost a search platform, is what all these data and blocks we need to do very soon. What would you say the next 6 months, 12 months, that will be the roadmap for the graph?
Yeah, of course. So in the next 6-12 months, we are sure to have integrated 1 or 2 other big chains that there's a lot of applications and demand on it. So we are already started with Near and Solana. And next on the map, we have also Cosmos and Polkadot and other blockchains. So in the next 6 to 12 months, you would expect the graph to be on big other blockchains.
That's awesome. That's scaling internal operations, right?
Yeah.
What would the developer see, whether with new features or new way of developing applications? Not just about we have a multiple chain world. How can be the indexing even further improved and features coming out?
Yeah, of course. So something that we are currently doing for the indexing experience, we are actually working on the indexing performance. So let's say that before we had a subgraph that needed, let's say, 20 days to be indexed.
That's right.
So we are working on this indexing performance to make it from 20 days maybe to 10 days. So we're really working on indexing performance, reducing the time that a large subgraph needs to be indexed. And this is actually providing so much help for indexers because they could scale their operations. They could index more and additional subgraphs.
That's amazing. Well, even with Figment, right, you guys have such a strong infrastructure nodes, running experience for sure, ops and deploy. Coming back to graph, do you also see being the decentralized aspect of this indexing? I remember your launch, right? So many people jumping into run indexing. How was that experience for yourself?
Actually, it was a great experience. Something that you not always, something that a lot of applications is learning right now, that if you are a centralized application, you can't compete with decentralization.
That's right.
So we are in the space of Web3 because we believe in decentralization, right? So as Figment, we had a lot of experience in indexing, but we came from a centralized experience, right? We had our own product, it was centralized. Then we saw what the graph is doing, which is the same as us, but in a decentralized way. And we know that this is the future, this is what we believe in from a philosophical perspective, from experience perspective. So we are so bullish on it, and we joined.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So far, many of the indexing analytics are for DeFi applications, right? Do you also see new use cases in the NFT and or maybe even DAO toolers, right? Have you seen non-DeFi use cases?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot, and this is something that's going to be growing on the graph. So there's a lot of NFTs that they need the historical data, right? So they need to know that we we send this NFT from this address to this address. So some of them are actually managing their own data, which is hard for them. So something that we'll start to see is that these NFTs applications or protocols, they don't want to manage their data. So they're going to create a subgraph, they're going to publish it on the graph network, and then indexers are going to collecting this data and they're just going to be querying it. So yeah, definitely we are seeing this.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like imagine like all the applications have the full functionality in blockchain and get any data that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super awesome, Joseph. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
today.
having me.